Good morning, everybody. It is Friday. It's finally Friday, and I didn't turn any of my lights on. It's one of those things that you don't really notice until you do it. Let's fix that. Alexa, start the office nonsense. That feels so much better. I just wasn't even comfortable without all the lights on, so that's fixed. Also, got a haircut this morning. Had a busy day already today, and have lots and lots of stuff to do. So I hope all of you are doing well. Good to see you folks in the conversation. Gold Zulu, good morning. Voice Dev UK, welcome. Lots and lots to do today. Probably not going to have a long stream today. Probably an hour 15 maybe, but not the full 2 hours. Have a bunch of stuff to get done and a bunch of meetings and stuff that I've got to take care of today. Recorded a new presentation for a conference that's coming up in May. Was able to already knock it out. I had the slide deck ready, and I figured, why not? They asked me for a recording, I'll make it. So did that yesterday. Good morning, Zach, man. It's time for Ballmer.
Developers.
Great to see everybody. I love all the sound effects. This is really coming together. And I think one of the things that we'll continue to do starting next week is really think about the interactivity. You guys Mom is here. My goodness. We are going to continue on this kind of interactivity journey where you guys can play and interact and whatever. We're going to be bringing the casino back. So there'll be ways to play with that stuff. Lots and lots of exciting stuff going on, but I'm trying to figure out ways to make this an engaging, fun, kind of crazy place while we do stuff. Give you guys stuff to do, to interact and engage while we're building whatever cool stuff we're building. So for today, one of the things that I really want to finish up is this trivia game. I invited a few of you yesterday to be able to join the beta. And so if there's anyone else that would like to get in the beta, that is still an open offer. In fact, let me open up a page here so I can add your email addresses. All I need is the email address you use to set up your Alexa devices, and I can add you to the beta. Now, there's going to be rough edges. There's going to be things that are broken and wrong, and I realized I just blew it up. No, maybe I didn't. Did I? No, I didn't. Okay, so I know you guys can't see this right now, but I'm in the process of figuring out how to get everything set up. I want to get to the beta part. And I have this off screen so that I'm not sharing everyone's email addresses with the public and giving them all away. So I'm in the beta testing interface now. Beta test is not available for this skill. Interesting. I wonder if I blew something up. Okay, you guys can't see this, but in the beta test interface, it looks like I have to. This is German. I'll show you what this looks like. What I'm trying to do right now is I forgot that I created this German locale for this skill so that Alex could get in. Locale, we're just going to do that. New. Bring our icon in again. Do that here. And all of this is after I save that. Okay, so I think the rest of this will be good. I'm going to take this back off screen just so I'm not sharing it. And we're going to scroll down to get to the beta. And still can't be a beta. Why? Your beta test is not available. Skill must be ready for submission. What am I doing wrong here? I guess they'll tell me. Let's run the validation tests and see if that changes anything. I don't know what could be wrong here, though. I was expecting to be able to just add people to my beta this morning. For those, provide at least one example phrase. Okay, I can do that. Let's go take care of that. One example. Oh, here we go. Alexa, play TKO Trivia. I hope that's all it was. We good now? Oh yeah, okay, we're good. So I know Jan Blank. I know you would like to get in, so I'm gonna do R Blank. Email address out loud. And you copy that URL. Let's see if I can do. I know you guys can't see my screen. I'm not showing this on screen because I don't want people to see everybody's email address because it does show them on the screen. So there we go. I just sent a link to Jan Blank, but if there's anybody else that would like to get in on the beta, you are welcome to. Yeah, so Zachman, that kind of will be true. So you can see from the reflection in my eyes. Yeah, maybe if we zoom way in. I mean, I do have a high def camera. Maybe you could read them. Zachman, that's the way this entire skill is designed. Actually, is that there are different, like everything here. We'll get to a screen now. We'll get to talk about data for a moment. So this is, if we look at my question database, in here you can see that I have all of my questions, but all of them are tagged with a locale. So if it makes sense for this question in this language to be provided to that locale, then we can add it. And I can very easily say like ENUK, or not, it's ENGB, sorry. ENGB, right? I can add it to that locale, and then instantly this question would be available to all the people in the ENGB locale as well. So that's how my entire database is structured, so that we can have different questions for different locales. Now, the thing that I haven't built into this is category swapping. You'll notice that my categories do not have different locales, and United States is probably a weird category to have if this is like in the Japanese locale. I don't expect that folks in Japan have an intimate knowledge of some of the nuances that are the questions that are about the United States. So at some point, I'll probably want to go back and also localize my categories so that this isn't one of the categories for other locales. And maybe we'll come up with a 20th category or something else. Or maybe there's only 19 for them. So here, okay, we've got a couple more email addresses, a couple more emails coming in. Let's see how I can, I'll just type it in. Add copy invite URL. I'll have to go to LinkedIn to reply to you. And see, VoiceDev UK, can I send you my email via Twitter? Yes, you can totally do that, or you could send it via Whisper here on Twitch. If that's easier, you just click on my name and you can send me a Whisper. In fact, I'll even say hello to you, so it's easy and obvious. If you want to send me your email address, that would be fantastic. So let's see if I can find my DJ Wool. I just sent you a link to get all signed up. So your email address has been added and you should be ready to go. So thank you guys for those of you that are interested in giving this a try. This is fantastic. There are going to be bugs. You are going to run into issues. The other thing that I ask is that on the GitHub for this, maybe, you can see that we have a list of issues, and I haven't seen any new ones. Oh no, Dana Gibson has a few in here. That's great. So I hadn't looked at this yet this morning. So all of these are new issues that Dana Gibson had added based on beta testing. This is perfect because now I can go in and I can explore what's going on, what's going wrong, and hopefully track that stuff down. So I'll add this to the chat. I'll add this for everybody. And let's see, got VoiceDev UK. I'm taking your email, adding it to the beta. It's added. And then I'm going to come back at you with a link to go add it to your profile. Zulu, got you. Keep in mind, I don't have this in other locales. So the only locale that this is available for is ENUS right now. So it may be trickier for you to get into this if you you don't have a ENUS profile. But we will eventually get to all of the locales. You will also get an email inviting you, but there are some tricks with the beta test that I want to share with all of you. So if you guys don't know this, when you create a beta test for your Alexa skill, what you're doing is using Amazon's email infrastructure to send an email to your volunteers to invite them to your beta test. The catch is if that person that you're inviting, if they have opted out of emails from Amazon, right, through any of the mailing lists or any of the other stuff that Amazon has, then when you tell it to send an email, it will actually not send them an email because they're on a please don't send me emails list with Amazon. So it's very possible you could add someone to the beta and they don't receive the email. It's a very unfortunate side effect of having all of this stuff integrated. So because of that, that's why I'm sending each of you individually a URL that allows you to just click and get right into the thing, because that's all the email would do anyway, is just send you that link. So if for whatever reason you don't get the email, that's probably why. You've probably told Amazon you don't want emails, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's why it didn't arrive. But that's why I'm sending each of you the individual links. So, all right. So we have the issues there. You guys can go in, and if you find something, please make it as easy to repeat the process as possible. If you can remember what question you were having a problem with, if you're running into whatever, let me know what you were doing. Were you answering a question? What question was it? All of that stuff makes a big difference in helping me understand what might be going wrong. And I'm sure we're going to run into issues that are unique to specific questions, unique to specific categories. There's all sorts of things that potentially could go wrong because there's so much content. It could just be like a specific symbol in one of the actual questions. And so that's a really hard bug to track down if I don't know what you were being asked. So any of that stuff goes a long way in helping me. But anyway, we have a list of a few things. In the middle of telling me, so on a standard keyboard shift question, well, here's what we really need to do. This is the thing that I should be focusing on right now, is that there are errors happening, and I don't know why. So we're going to go to AWS, and we're going to look at our Lambda. We're going to figure out what exactly is going on, because I thought that I wrote some code yesterday to log all of my errors. We have that field way out here. And you can see that I have a total of 0 records. So either we had 0 errors or I'm not logging them properly, and I'm willing to bet that I'm not logging them properly. So let's come look at Lambda and see what, no, actually not Lambda. I want CloudWatch. So CloudWatch logs and see what's going on. Nope, not that one. Log groups, please. We want TKO. All right. I need a quick. Here, let's do it this way. If I do. By the way, Goldzilla, you have some crazy email addresses. Just want to say that. Okay, the link will still work. I just added that other email address for you, Goldzulu. If I do this. Okay, should I have All right, we're going to send out a quick poll. I'm sending a poll to all of you right now. This is something I've been wondering about. Can you guys take my poll real quick? Would love your opinions on this. The question is, should I have background music in this stream? It's awfully quiet. Obviously, I spend a lot of time talking anyway, but I wonder what you guys think about as you're watching Twitch streams. Do you like a little soft background music? or do you prefer kind of this silent voice only thing? Because I can go track down some copyright free music and we'll throw some stuff in the background that's kind of fun and upbeat and whatever. But I'd love your opinion on that, and I'm open to it either way. I've not had music for a very long time, but if that's something that you guys think would be cool or interesting, I'm happy to add that. I think it certainly adds something to the stream a little bit. So, okay, back to what we were doing. We were looking at our logs, and we have a bunch of errors. This is an error that I just created this morning, I think. Is that right? See, error handler is failing. So we're getting errors, but the error handler itself is failing. Let's go look at that. Session attributes is not defined. This error handler. So I'm asking for session attributes right there. Well, this is why it's failing. Wow. Okay. So let's get something that does have session attributes like this. And back into error handler. Now it should work. Session attributes is there. Data is there. Helper is there. Error is there. Okay. Let's see if we're getting some errors now. I don't know if you guys are playing with it at all right now. Jan Blank says no music. No music. All right. Well, the poll suggests otherwise. I think you're going to have to vote in the poll. The poll is overwhelmingly yes so far. If I want soft elevator music to jump into InstaFluff, well, I'll have to take a look at InstaFluff stuff. I like his stream. Maybe he's got some good music I could dive into. All right, so TKO Trivia. AJ says very low is okay. I wouldn't mind at all. Great to know. Great to know. Come on. What are we doing? That's perfect, Gold Zulu. Thank you. I'm not going to play it right now, especially because I need to make sure I'm vetting the music properly and not playing something that's going to get me a strike. But I will send myself an email with that link. And I'm betting InstaFluff probably has a couple of other flavors too. Send this to myself. Very cool. Did you just say that is auto-generated? It's completely unique and change depend on the chat activity? What? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, we'll have to play with that. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's see if you guys are playing with this at all. I don't see any errors right now. That's good. That's really good news. Still don't see any data in my error table either. I don't believe for a moment that there are no errors. Well, no one's hitting the skill either. Here, let's do this. Let's do an ask deploy and just push those changes out and stop the local debugging. And then I'll show you the other thing that I did also. Nice. Okay. So let me run through it real quick just to see what we've got. Let's go. Come on. Let's go to the beginning.
Okay, here's what
I'll fight with that.
This is TKO Trivia.
Okay,
A trivia game with 20 different categories that will knock you out.
So one of the
You
things that I
can
was
say
working
something
on
like,
is this.
here are a couple of categories I'd recommend: art and stage, food and drink, literature, people, or technology. Saying give me the complete list will give you all 20 categories. Which category would you like to try?
So you can see here that we have all of these buttons. These were created by, well, the buttons, the icons and stuff were icons that we pulled from the Noun project, but these buttons were created by our friend Alex, who I don't think he's here yet this morning, but very, very helpful to pull this together for me. And one of the things that I wanted to do is give people the ability when they tap on the screen to be able to choose the category that they want. And so, for example, if I choose TV and radio now, when I click on it, you'll see the user touch event happens.
I hope you like
And
this
then it
one
asks
about
you a
TV and radio.
question. This was surprisingly easy to put together.
What series gained a cult following after its abrupt cancellation, which led to the feature film Serenity?
And so this is one of those things that I always forget how to do and I have to look up, but it was surprisingly easy to put together. And so if we look at, I just realized I gotta change it.
What do you think the answer is?
What do I think the answer is? I know the answer. But to show you guys how this actually works, what we do here in our category list is we have a scroll view. Inside there, we have a container that has a touch wrapper. And so this gets repeated over and over, this whole thing, for each value that we pass in. But you can see that each touch wrapper on press has a send event, and it's actually pulling this data.id. So if we look at our data, which category list data looks like this, you can see that I've gone through and modified his document a little bit. Now, ultimately, I'll dynamically update this, but basically I have a list of categories, and these categories have a bit of data. So the name, this is the name that gets shown on the button. And then I replaced the values he had in here with my actual database IDs. This will eventually be dynamic again, but the IDs here are the IDs that point directly to my database. So she said, oh, we don't have a category for random trivia. Interesting. Let me see what happened. That's not how it's supposed to work. That is something I noticed yesterday too. Give me a random question.
Picked a tricky sports and games question this time. The following are 3 of the 4 major tournaments in a sport: US Open, French Open, and Australian Open. Name the 4th.
We don't have a category for random trivia. This is probably just me needing to tweak up my interaction model more than anything else. Let's go look at my interaction model and see how I'm handling random. Because the way this is supposed to work in my question intent, give me a random question. What if I just say random as a value? Random trivia. Add those in and see if that doesn't fix the issue. AJ, well, the answer to that question earlier, the one about Serenity, was in fact Firefly. Good answer. Good answer to that one. What is the question we're currently sitting on? The following are the 4 major tournaments in a sport: US Open, French Open, Australian Open. Name the 4th. I like this one because we also don't tell you what the sport is. Does anyone know what the 4th one of this is? While we wait for this to build. AJ, I'm glad it's working well for you. Full build successful. So now let's try random.
I hope you like this one about sports and games.
I think I may have just solved that problem. But this is good. If I look at
what NFL team is named after a poem?
Give me a monkey question. That certainly shouldn't work, so that feels good. Give me a trivia question. Handling that. Let's do that.
Okay. What is your answer?
Give me a trivia question. This is one of the nice things about capturing this kind of data, is that we can very easily come in. And in fact, I'm going to add another column that's addressed. The checkbox. Just do this. So I've solved for these things. So what's nice about this is that I can use this as a log for myself for improvements. So I can say, oh, okay, like they're saying random and they're saying trivia, and it's not catching those things. So I come back and I fix my interaction model a little bit to add these things. And now that I've done that, those things shouldn't happen anymore. So when I see entries in this category instance, this is telling me that, hey, this stuff is broken. Things aren't working. The same goes for question instance. As I look at the questions you guys are answering, somebody said Firefly, Wimbledon, Baltimore Ravens. What was the question? Oh, no, the answer, these are the ones I was doing. But as we look at ones people got wrong, see, like this one, the $1 bill, they said the dollar bill. So the $1 bill. So we go look at this question here. We look at the synonyms for this. This is where this tool gets really powerful. So we look at our synonyms. We have the dollar, $1 dollar bill, the dollar bill, and for whatever reason we'll say the dollar bill. It doesn't hurt us, and we'll save that. So now the next time that we encounter this question, that answer should be treated as correct. This one here, the question. What was the question? Which one of these foods did not originate in the United States? Chop suey hamburgers, German chocolate cake, or Belgian waffles or pizza? And the person answered Belgian waffles, but the correct answer is actually pizza. So that is correct. I'll be interested to see how this one works. The actual answer to this is 4.2% ABV, but you're supposed to give an answer within a range. So if we look at this one, within 1/2 of 1%, what percentage alcohol by volume is Bud Light? So the answer is 4.2. So I technically accept any answers 3.7 to 4.7 in that range. Well, this person answered 3.2. That's wrong. So that's fine. What's this one? How many adult teeth does a human have? Well, the answer is 32. They answered 34. So that's not right. That's good. No idea. This should be treated as a wrong answer. That's fine. Sherwin-Williams, Apple. That's probably wrong. El Salvador is the right answer. Goldman Sachs. What I want to make sure is I'm not getting wrong answers. Cincinnati. This one guessed wrong. Let's see. So this person said, "Who is Roosevelt?" And they got told they were wrong. See, this is another example. What even does right and wrong mean? That's funny. Who is Roosevelt? That should have worked. So if we look at our answer intent, I thought I had who is. I have what is. Who is? Also, good morning, Corey Haynes. You can also say, where is? Not that I expect people to give Jeopardy answers, but they do sometimes. And so it's easy. It's good to be able to accommodate those. So we have things like what is, where is, who is, it is, the actual wrong answer. I guess I should have who is and where is wrong. Save that, build that. And as we continue to look through this, who is Roosevelt should now work. Delaware and Boston are not the right answers. Mrs. Banks, probably not right. We're getting back into my wrong answer. So you guys have done a good job of like churning through some questions. This is good. No idea. I wonder if I should accommodate these when they say like, what's going on? This one caused an error for somebody, but still don't have any logged errors though. Let's go look at our logs here again. I don't know if you guys are even playing it right now, but let's take a look. So in my logs, looks like somebody's playing right now. Yeah, I'm not seeing any errors. That's good. No errors is good. That doesn't mean it's not quitting. It doesn't mean that we're not screwing some stuff up. But people are definitely burning through some questions, right? We can see the Great Pumpkin here, Iowa. This is good. Cool. Okay. Well, I feel like things are rolling. That's positive. So the thing I was showing you earlier was that I'm passing my IDs into this category list, and this on press event right here decides when someone taps on the screen, the thing that we were looking at here. If we go back to tell me the categories.
Here are five categories I think you might like. Business world, geography,
we have this tell me the categories, and each one of these has that
or tradition and beliefs.
So what I do is I click on like technology, and that information gets passed through. I hope you like
this one about technology.
And so what happens is I now have this.
What is the name of the special effects company that George Lucas founded in May of 1975?
Okay, so in here what I've added is a user event handler. And so this user event handler is checking to see, is this a user event from the APL presentation language? Great, so that's the event that we're looking for basically, and then we're just calling it user event.
What is your answer?
Stop. Okay, so then in here, all I have to do, because we've built a lot of these mechanisms before, is that all I have to do is grab that category ID, which we can do that. And then I'm just calling out and I'm getting a random question from the category that we just specified, because I have all of this functionality, but this took me like 10 seconds to build. The Alexa voice is really loud relative to your voice. All right, I'll turn it down. I was playing with some volumes yesterday. And then finally, all I have to do is return the ask question function where I pass in the question and it generates the rest of it for me. So that is all I had to do for the user event handler, was 3 lines of code, and 2 of them I've done before. Very, very nice and handy to be able to reuse a lot of the capabilities we've already written. So that is how we handle our user events. And then we're just returning this ask question function, which then prompts the user for the question with the sound effects and the timer and all that stuff. So we are well on our way. I'm going to come in and look at our issue list and see if we can solve some of these. So in the middle of telling me my answer was wrong, I got something went wrong. That's a good one. I don't know how to solve some of these. TKO said I heard change when I didn't say anything. Let's see. When we go to the answer intent, how are we handling that? Maybe this one we can solve. The answer intent out here, I have speak output. See, this is probably why that happens. We have a at the beginning here, we have an action query, and that action query gets mixed in a couple of places. I think right there we have. This is when you said something totally wrong and I'm confused and I don't know what to do. So the action query goes there. Otherwise, we piece all these things together and we eventually end up with this, where action query is tucked onto speak output. But what I really want, this is a good catch, is that for reprompt, I don't want to say the whole thing again. I just want to say the action query. So that's all in the same scope. That should work nicely. Is it in the same scope? Action query. Yeah, action query is at the root. So why do I feel like it's not, though? Do I have some indentation issues? Action query is right here. Then I have an if statement, an else, and then an if statement. What is this? Oh, I see. It's just for this piece here. Okay. So yeah, so we're in the clear. So now action query, I got to try this on a device, but when we try this, I'm gonna ask a question, and he's saying when he answers it, when I didn't respond to what would you like to do now, it repeated the answer to the last question. Yeah, I think that's what would have happened. But let's try this. I'm gonna ask a question, and I'm gonna answer it, and then at the very end, it's gonna say, "What do you want to do now?" And I'm gonna say nothing, and then it should just say, "Okay, what do you want to do now?" Let's give that a try. Alexa, open TKO Trivia.
This is TKO Trivia, a trivia game with 20 different categories that will knock you out. You can say something like,
Alexa.
Give me a science question.
Alexa.
Or you can start today's game. What will it be?
Alexa, random.
This politics question should be challenging. What name was given to members of women's organizations in the late 19th and early 20th century, which advocated the extension of voting rights to women?
Alexa, suffragette.
Way to go! You got that one right. Suffragettes was the correct answer. What should we do this time? Way to go! You got that one right.
Oh,
Suffragettes
I
was
haven't
the
deployed the
correct
code.
answer. What should we do this time?
Let's do that. I'm not running the service, so we'll just do local debugging.
I heard you say, let's do that, but I'm not sure what you want me to do. What should we do next?
Give me a random question.
This is a fun language question for you. What specific type of bread has a Germanic name that loosely translates as farting devil?
Alexa, pumpernickel.
All righty. You got that one right. The answer was pumpernickel. You can say something like, give me a science question, or you can start today's game. What will it be? You can say something like, give me a science
Much
question,
better.
or you can start today's game. What will it be?
Quit. All right. So one issue resolved. Thank you, Dana, for logging that. We're going to take this one and close it. So let's try this question mark question. I don't know what question that is, but we'll find it. This is number 369. Alexa, open TKO Trivia.
TKO Trivia,
Alexa,
where the questions are.
give me number 369.
TKO Trivia, where the questions are impossible
Alexa,
and the achievements are meaningless.
give me question 369.
It looks like I don't have a specific category for questions 369. For a full list of categories,
Alexa,
just say,
give me number 369.
it looks like I don't have a specific category for questions 369. For a full list of categories, just say, give me the list of categories. What should we do next?
Give me number 369.
From the technology category.
There we go.
On a standard keyboard, what character do you get when you hold the Shift key and press the question mark key?
Alexa, question mark.
I'm not sure.
Alexa, quit. Too many things happening at once. We got to try this again. Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it, Corey? Now, if you're playing it in front of a keyboard, it's easy, but sometimes people really fumble on that one. Alexa, quit. Alexa, open TKO Trivia. I like some fun trick questions like that one, Corey. Alexa, open TKO Trivia. What is happening? This is working. Alexa, play TKO Trivia. What is happening? Alexa, play TKO Trivia. I don't understand. Alexa, play TKO Trivia. I don't understand. Okay, fine. Make me get forceful. I don't want to do this. We'll do it. Oh, no. Oh, good. That's actually really good. Let's come in here and go to our interaction model download. Are my new changes in here? If we look at my category, subscription, cancel. No, where's the answer intent? Where, yeah, so these are the changes I just made, so that's good. Okay. I'm worried that I just blew those changes away. All right, we've just deployed to production, so now let's try this again. Alexa, open TKO Trivia.
This is TKO Trivia.
Weird.
A trivia game with 20 different categories that will knock you out.
Alexa,
What should we do?
give me number 369.
This is TKO Trivia.
Alexa,
A trivia game.
give me number 369.
This is an excellent technology question. On a standard keyboard, what character do you get when you hold the Shift key and press the question mark key?
Alexa, question mark.
Boom! You got that one right. The answer to that question was question mark. You get a / if you don't hold Shift. What should we do this time?
Stop. All right, so
Catch you on the flip side.
cool. I'm glad you're catching me on the flip side. I'm going to add more. This intent's eventually going to go away. And add that in there for now. Again, this whole intent's going to go away. We're not going to let people pick question by question in the actual skill, and they won't know what the numbers are anyway. But this is for me to be able to instantly test a question. I constantly find myself so. I'm going to label this as how do we want to label this? You know, we'll just keep it as a bug for now, I guess, but I'm not. Let's add a comment to it. Question number 369 can't repeat issue. All right, back to issues. Is there anything else that we should be thinking about right now? We still have a few other intents and things that I want to build, like what achievements have I completed, or adding a bunch of other. Actually, let's do some data work right now. So one of the things that I have in my user record is like how many questions you've been asked, how many you've answered, how many you've gotten correct. Some interesting data that I can use for achievements. But one of the things I don't have is a category count. And so I think Boy, what's the best way to do this? I wonder, should I create an aggregate table? I really want this as part of the user record. And it's just a bunch of lookup columns. So let's give this a try. So we're going to have a rollup. Is it going to be a rollup? I think so. And what we care about is question instance. And I care about how many questions you've gotten correct in a specific category. Only include conditions where, see, I don't even have, we got to take a step back. So question instance, I have question, but I need to roll something up in here. So we're going to do category. So lookup, maybe, from the field question, and we want to know category. That should show me the name of the category, right? Yeah, okay. So this just shows me the name of the category that I'm rolling up in here. This is all lookup, so I'm not having to like insert this data automatically. But now in my user table, I can have a roll up. We're going to call this one art stage correct. Yes. What we care about is the question instance. We care about the, doesn't really matter, record ID. What we want is for the is correct to be true, and we want category to contain art and stage. What we're going to do is count the records. So you can see here that I've gotten 7 art and stage questions right. So I want to validate that to make sure that my aggregation is correct. But if we come into question instance, we can filter this down really quick, kind of the same way. So where is correct is true, and where user contains PLNU, that should, no. I thought it was user, yeah. And user contains whatever this is. No. Okay. And then filter art and stage. So, and category contains art. I see 7 records. So that's good. So that means that my aggregation for that stuff is working nicely. And when we think about our user, we now have a record called art stage correct, which tells us how many correct answers they've gotten in the art and stage category. What that doesn't tell me is how many questions they've been asked, because what I really want to know is kind of what their best percentages are, what categories they're doing the best in. And so just because they've answered 7, they may have answered 100 of the questions in that category, but only gotten 7 right. And so I need to think about 2 values, art and stage correct, they've gotten 7 right. But then I also need like art and stage attempted, or what do we call it over here? We have question count, correct count. So we should probably stick with it. So we'll call this art stage correct count. Save that. We'll also need one that is art stage question count. This is how many questions they've been asked in that category. So again, same idea. We're going to look at question instance. We're going to look at record ID, and we only want where category contains art stage. That's the only piece that I need. So if I create that, oh, what did I screw up? Oh, I need the count. So clearly I'm doing something wrong there. So let's take a look. What did I do here? Is correct, and category contains art and stage. And this one I did Save. Okay. So now we can see that I have 10 questions that have been asked in this category, and I've gotten 7 right. So this is unfortunate because I'm going to have to create like 40 different categories, 40 different columns. I wish there was an easier way to pull this stuff together, but they're just, without having to build a bunch of additional aggregation functions and lookups, I think this will be it's a lot of work now, but it's a minor amount of data that's actually being transmitted. Yeah. And then we can create it's actually 60 fields potentially. If we do not a lookup. If we do a formula, then I should be able to say this equals the art stage correct count divided by the art stage question count. And then I want the formatting to be a percent to 2 digits. And so now I can see that they have 70% of the questions in that category right. So this needs to be called art. What do we call the other one? Art stage. We're calling this correct percentage. Art stage correct percentage. Wow. Okay. Stage correct percentage. This is good. I hesitate on this a little bit only because I'm bothered by the fact that I'm potentially adding 60 columns to my database. One for the correct, one for question, one for percentage. The good news for me is that all this processing happens on a server I don't pay for, and that makes me feel really good. But it also means that I'm going to have to add 60 columns to my user query, and that's 60 more data fields potentially. Well, no, absolutely. That I will pull down every time I grab my user record, which is good because then I have a whole bunch of additional achievements I can add. Oh boy. This is one of those things that I hem and haw about because I don't want to do this. I mean, I'm gonna do it, but I don't want to do it on stream. Like this feels like maintenance work. Nothing I want to make you guys subjected to is you just sit here and watch me create data fields. But it is kind of interesting to be able to pull this data together. I wonder if we could just do, we can really shorten those down, huh? Okay, so I think that's the direction I'm headed. We have this column, so let's go tweak a couple of things, and we'll just play with this one to get a good feel for everything that we need to get into. As we think about this, then we need to go into our get user by user ID function, and way out here we already have a bunch of columns mentioned. This query's gotten quite long, and we have this end fields. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to tack on art stage correct count. This is going to be art stage question count. And then this is going to be art stage correct percentage. Okay, so I've added those 3 fields to my user record. Everything else should just kind of funnel through. So what I'd like to do is fire this up locally. I'm not pushing this to production yet. And now that it's running, if we come into our skill and we'll start over, I'm going to specifically ask it to start the skill. This should go get my user record. Hopefully this doesn't break anything.
This is TKO Trivia.
Nice.
A trivia game with 20 different categories that will knock you out. You can say something like, give me a science question, or you can start today's game. What will it be?
And we can see that right there in our response that we have all three of those values that we grabbed. So it's interesting to me also that I told this field, this one, that this is a percentage, right? Formatting, I can choose what the formatting is going to be, but it actually doesn't pass it out that way. So even though I want a percentage, the value that actually comes back from the service is the raw data, just the 0.7 decimal instead of 70%, which is fine. I don't mind converting that, but that's good to be aware of. So now we could create some achievements around the number of correct answers you've gotten in art and stage. So again, we'll have to add to the check achievements function, but first we need to actually add the achievements. So if we come into achievement, we can have art, stage, correct. Start there. This is going to be ENUS because again, all of our language is handled by locale, but I don't actually want to do this. I want to call this category correct. Say you just entered your fifth okay, and we'll take this, duplicate, make this 10. Come on, stop sorting. 10th. Come on. That was your 20. Need all of these right now, but we'll do a couple more. That's the amount of work I'm creating for myself. So that let's see, what do we say for 50? You have officially entered 50. Okay, so we have category correct 5 through 50. And then the last piece is to do our achievement checker. And so I have to remember how to do that. This is my list of achievements, so I need to add them in here. Boy, I have a bunch that aren't in here, don't I? Do I even need that? I don't know if I'm actually doing that. Get. Where are we checking the achievements? Is that in helper? No. I don't remember how I do this. So let's go to the beginning. In here, we have our request interceptor. It could be happening in here. No, it doesn't look like it is though. So I'm coming in here and I'm getting user by user ID, checking to see if it's their first time, setting my user property in the session attributes, logging their session. Feels like I would do it here though. This is weird. Where else would I do this then? So if we're coming in for like the launch request, the next place we would hit after the request interceptor is the actual launch request. I don't do it here. Get session attributes, first time welcomes, get locale. This is just basic speech. Where Achievement count. That's fun. Answer count, correct count. These live in a folder called achievement. Great. Where do I call these? How do I call these? How did I do this? Get achievement speech where I pass in the user and the locale. And this is where, lovely, this is it. Okay, so get achievement speech. Where is this called? That's great that I'm doing this here, but I am doing it right here. Get achievement speech. Interesting. So I'm actually handling the achievement speech discovery in a bunch of locations. I don't know that I love that. I kind of want to do it just in one place. But I think I have to do it this way because I kind of mix it into everything. It would be easy to tack on to the beginning or the end, but to mix it into the middle is a little more complicated. Okay. Well, the good news is all of the achievements that I'm looking at building right now are based on you getting a question correct. So you had 9 art and stage questions right, and you answer a 10th one and you get it right. That's going to happen in the answer intent anyway. And so in the answer intent, we are calling get achievement speech. This is going to loop through. We can find that file, get achievement speech. Get achievement speech. Where did you go? Get achievement speech. And this is where we are basically making calls to each of the possible achievement things that are going on. And what we're really looking at is correct count, which we could already just embed the stuff in there. We don't need a whole new function for that. So inside achievement, we have correct count. And this is where we are, but again, we're assuming that you can only get 1 because we're returning all the way out of here once we get a thing. So the way I have this structured is, let's close all these files. We have, where'd it go? Get achievement speech. That needs to be opened. And then the other piece that we need is achievements. This is the list of achievements. And then we also need answer intent because that's where this is all going to happen. That calls this. This does this stuff. And then we have achievements. I think I probably just need, maybe I could just rework this. Because this is going to bring back is if I look at get specific achievement, that's probably bringing back the whole achievement. And it is. And then get achievement speech. So I'm calling out here, I'm making these calls to these 4 functions. And then I am pushing the achievements themselves, the whole achievement, into an array. And then after we've gone through all of them, if there is anything in the array, then we go through and we rip out the voice response. All right, so I think from a plug and play perspective, I'm going to continue with that pattern rather than trying to re-architect correct count to do multiple things. So that means that inside it, well, we'll take something like this. This is really exactly what we're going to be doing. We'll take this and we'll do save as, and this is going to be art stage. So this one, oh, maybe we could just do a category. We're doing it for the achievement speech. We can probably do it here too. Let's rename this. Category correct count. Okay, now this is starting to feel more like a function instead of just a hard-coded nonsense. This needs to go here. Category correct count. Okay. So in here, what we need is user locale, but we also need like a category something or other. So in here, in answer intent, get achievement speech gets called here. But achievement speech already doesn't know anything about what was currently going on. So answer intent does, though. We could just pass a third value in, which is category, and then let's find the category for the question that was just asked. I don't put that anywhere yet. Okay. This is answer intent. We should be able to just take this right here. Take that, slap it on the end here. Now we know what category we're looking at, what category they just finished, because I don't need to evaluate all of the categories. What I need to do is evaluate the category you just finished. Except that, when did I actually save it already? Update question instance has already been saved. Yeah, see, I'm getting myself in some trouble. There's a few things that I need to look at here. The first is, you can see that I'm incrementing this because it's all happening in the same place. So like we have answer count, we have correct count. These values get incremented temporarily while we're still living in this instance. But then once the user replies again, we go back to the database and grab the records, which at that point have been updated. So they'll have the new value also. Doing this prevents us from having to call the database and look up the user again. So avoiding database calls makes things complicated sometimes. Because if I look at this category, I haven't gone back to the database to look up the user again. I'm not necessarily, Corey, this is a good question. I'm not necessarily avoiding database calls. I like calling the database. What I'm trying to do is avoid calling the database 40 times per execution, right? I mean, like there are a few instances where I call it 3 or 4 times, but I don't have the ability to do joins, which would allow me to pull a lot of the data back all at once. So for each individual thing that I need, I'm trying not to call the database. It slows everything down. It makes things a little... No, I agree with you, Corey, but like I'm always keeping my eye towards that, right? Like in this specific file alone, before we got here, we called the database once to get the user record. Then we called here to get our action query. Then depending on our case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 6. Then we have this one to check achievements. And then down here at the bottom, that's it. So it's like 6 or 7. So I'm really trying to at least keep an eye on the fact that I'm calling so often, because my fear is for one user, it's fine. But when we start doing this for 100 users or 1,000 users, is everything going to fall apart? So I think it's only that I'm trying to be conscious of it. Not that I can't or won't call the database, but if I don't have to, I try not to. That's been generally my guiding philosophy on this. But 40 times for one execution, only one way to find out if it'll fall apart. YOLO, I love it. I mean, that would certainly make my life easier, right? If I just, every time I needed data, I call the database to get it. And every time that I have data, I put it in the database. But it feels like it's a costly execution. And later I'm going to have to go back and fix a bunch of that stuff. You know what? That is a very solid philosophy, Corey. Make it work, then make it right, then make it fast. I'm with you. And I guess I could consolidate later when I run into problems. I'm trying to build this in a way, though, that it won't fall down when I start giving it to a bunch of users. And I suppose that's pre-optimization that's not necessary. Right now, I'm still in the make it work phase. So I like that. But I wonder if I do want to put in all this work right now anyway to add these achievements that I don't even really need right now. Because now I'm in this situation where I think I'm just going to put a pause on this. We're going to add it. We're going to add it to our issues because I want to do this. But I'm going to put a pause on this. Add category double achievements for correct answer out. Add records to the database. Add achievements to the file. Yep, that's probably where I'll have to land, right? Is doing as best I can to put a cache layer between. Just not yet. What do we call that file? Get achievement speech. Ask for that. Good new issue to think about. But that doesn't prevent everything from working now. And I want to make sure I added something to my intent. I want to make sure that if we look at my ENUS, did I add that in here? The specific question intent, I did not. So let's bring that back down. Okay, that's done. I made it to 11:15. That was my goal for today, hour and 15 minutes, and we made it. So I'm going to have to wrap some things up because I have a nutso Friday. Normally my Fridays are pretty manageable on or WebAssembly. It's like assembly, but for the web. Yeah, there's lots and lots we could do. But I also want to move on to a new project. So we're trying to get this to a point where we can at least get it into people's hands and play. And hopefully we'll be in a good place very soon. So that's down. We're going to do an ask deploy just so our latest code is in production. And then we're going to call it a day. You have a good weekend too, Corey. Thank you for swinging by. Let's go find somebody to raid. Who would be good to raid today? Who would be good to raid today? Have you guys noticed this? I've been trying to do this every day this month. I mean, it should happen all the time, but I'm trying to specifically every day this month. I mean, it should happen all the time, but I'm trying to specifically every day this month. I mean, it should happen all the time, but I'm trying to specifically every day this month. I mean, it should happen all the time, but I'm trying to specifically. Why do I hear myself? Every day. I mean, it should happen all the time, but I'm trying to specifically. Why do I hear myself? Every day. I mean, it should happen playing somewhere. I can't see. Why do I hear myself? Every day. Okay. I'm specifically trying to target women that are streaming. Here we go. Somebody from Germany. She's in German. Let's see if we can find somebody in English. I mean, obviously, people don't designate themselves as male or female on here, which is fine. but I'm trying to show some love today. Here we go. Mendigo. Find. A little raid. Start our raid. We're going to go over and see. She's working on Pomodoro of some kind. She's got a cool looking interface too. Want to see what this is. Also, it looks like she's studying. Oh, she's studying for the MCAT. Wow. That's legit. Well, we're about to totally distract her. So I apologize to her now, but we're gonna jump in and say hey. So let's jump over for a raid. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I will see you on Monday.